Selfish ghost.
Brutality of Steelers-Bengals shouldn't be dismissed as AFC North football. You can love football and hate what happened Monday night in Cincinnati. You can tune in for bone-crushing tackles. You can stand up and cheer when a running back trucks a linebacker. And, yes, you can still be repulsed by two plays that will hover over this game, and perhaps the NFL, for weeks and months to come. This is not the time to argue, stubbornly and with fleeting merit, that football must be accepted as an uncontrollably vicious and unavoidably violent game. Indeed, it once was. But it can no longer be, at least not in the context we're accustomed to. We know too much now about the long-term impact of brain injuries to simply tolerate the unconscionably directed hits that Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Vontaze Burfict and Pittsburgh Steelers receiver Antonio Brown absorbed in the fourth quarter of the Steelers' 23-20 victory. Burfict left the field on a stretcher to be evaluated for a concussion, the victim of Steelers receiver Juju Smith-Schuster's illegal block. Less than 4 minutes later, Bengals safety George Iloka drilled Brown's face mask after a game-tying touchdown. The plays came amid the pall of a frightening first-quarter injury suffered by Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier, who was taken to a local hospital because of a back injury. The Shazier injury happened innocently enough, after he lowered his head to make a routine tackle. To be fair, most of Monday night's game was played within reasonable boundaries of roughness. These teams have a long and heated rivalry, flush with a history of legal and illegal hits in recent years. That's almost certainly why Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, when asked about the viciousness of the game, blew it off as AFC North football. But that just can't be, not anymore, not if you recognize the way the wind is blowing with this sport and game. I spoke this summer with Dr. Bennett Omalu, who discovered chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, by identifying it in the brains of deceased NFL players. In his opinion and the opinions of many other medical professionals, the science of repeated brain injuries is settled. There is no such thing as a safe blow to the head, he said. And then when you have repeated blows to your head, it increases the risk of permanent brain damage. Once you start having hundreds or thousands of blows, there is a 100% risk of exposure to permanent brain damage. The brain does not have a reasonable capacity to regenerate. This is something we have always known. In other words, if you play football long enough, you are going to be exposed to permanent brain damage. That doesn't necessarily mean everyone will fall victim, of course. But if you think that focus on brain health in football is a fad or a passing concern or anything other than central to the future of the game, then you haven't been paying attention lately. This isn't going away. At some point, a moral reckoning will arise among fans, if it hasn't already, who no longer feel entertained by watching players bashing in each other's brains. Even the NFL has accepted a reality in which it must at least attempt to minimize head trauma, be it subconcussive hits on a daily basis or clinical concussions in games. That acceptance has manifested itself in a set of rules that Smith-Schuster and Iloka blew through Monday night.